It's Richard Beauvoisin here on Radio Bars talking to Chesney Hawkes. He is live here on Zoom. Good morning, Chesney.
Good morning, Richard. How are you today?
I'm very well. Yeah, very well. It's been a bizarre day already, and I didn't think I'd be talking to you today, but here we are. Life is such, and we had problems getting on Zoom because I had two-factor authentication, which was a real pain. But there we go.
Modern day problems, Richard. We
It
all have
really is.
it. We can all relate.
Never mind. Now, you are here to talk about your upcoming tour and your album as well. I've just played Live Forever. So,
Oh,
how is the tour going so far?
really, really well. I have to say, it is humbling for me and so emotional to be playing these venues now, 34 years after my first record, and have people kind of singing along to the new songs. It's amazing. It's kind of, I guess, why we do it. And it's been really fun and sold out crowds everywhere we go. And so I'm humbled, and grateful.
How did it feel, kind of, because you were on tour with James Blunt before, weren't you? Kind of going
Yes,
around as go
exactly.
on.
It's like a game of two halves. I went on tour with Blunty around Europe. And we were playing in like huge, arenas all over, like in Vienna and Amsterdam and Brussels and all, Hamburg, Munich, Paris, all these incredible places. And then the second half of the tour is a headline tour for me, and obviously smaller venues up and down the UK. And yeah, it definitely is a game of two halves.
Is it doing the smaller venues? I teach dancing for a living. That's what my normal job is. And sometimes we're in quite small venues, and sometimes in really big venues. I actually prefer the smaller venues because I feel it's intimate. I feel I'm actually in touch with those that are watching me on stage. How do you feel about it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I like both. I have to say, there's nothing quite like a rush of walking on stage in front of 20,000 people, and then you see all the lights and everything. I mean, that is like hair on the back of the neck. But you're right, and I do really appreciate the intimate venues. I tend to talk a little bit more. You get to know me a little bit better. I can see the whites of your eyes. I do end up doing like a meet and greet, and afterwards, and go and come and meet everyone. It's nice. I like the intimate ones a lot.
Yeah, I personally prefer them as well myself. Now, something I'm really interested in is that again, every guest that I chat to, I like to stalk them if I'm honest with you for a little bit. So you're obviously fairly easy to find stuff out about. Something that you've written is that you really try to balance your stardom life with your home life. Now, I struggle to do that myself in my own little world that I live in. So how do you manage it?
I try and carve out time whenever I can. I mean, right now is a bit crazy. It's a little bit different right now because I've got an album coming out. I'm on tour and everything else. And obviously, I'm 100 miles an hour at this particular moment. Haven't seen much of my kids recently. But what we try and do is have, a light at the end of the tunnel, as it were, just kind of carve out a week here and there. And my week with my family this year at the moment is coming up is on July, the beginning of July. My daughter is graduating at St Andrews University, and she said to me, "If you're not there, I'm disowning you. That's it." So. So I'm going to be there for her. And of course, I'm so proud of her after 4 years at St Andrews. I want to be there to watch her in her cap and gowns or whatever it is they do up in St Andrews. Some kind of weird tradition, I'm sure.
No, everybody does have those traditions university wise, don't they? And you mentioned about letting them go as well. Now, I've got three children that are older as well. I've got a younger one as well, and two are at university. And it's been really weird for me because I've had the scenario of they've been in my life all the time and then all of a sudden not. And that's really strange.
Yeah, I think it's a rite of passage, isn't it, for us parents that, they get to a certain age, and my kids are there now, late teens, early 20s, where you kind of got to let go a little bit. They're going to find people in their lives that are going to be influential in their lives, whether it's a partner or new friends or whatever, and work partners and stuff like that. You just have to, realize that that is their path, and that's the title of my latest album is called Living Arrows, which is exactly about that. So it comes from a Khalil Gibran poem called On Children, and it likens your children as living arrows, and you pull back the bow, and we have to let them go. So
Yeah.
you let them go off in the world, and yeah, somebody said to me, it's like letting your heart ripping it out of your body, letting your heart walk around on its own. That's how it feels, doesn't it? Letting your kids go like that.
It's really difficult. I now have a weekly slot to talk to one of my daughters, and it's very bizarre. And she does
Yeah.
message me on other occasions if she needs a new laptop or something like that.
Of
But
course, there's always the financial issues.
yeah, absolutely.
My
No,
daughter, she tends to call me every morning when she's walking to her class, which I quite like.
okay.
It's like a little tradition now. So I have a good 10 minutes with her in the morning just to catch up.
Oh, that is precious. That really is precious. Now, you have a link on your new album to your original track, which nobody knows what that track is.
No.
And good old Nick Kershaw. Okay, now I turned 50 last year, and I have the pleasure of this is my sad little world I live in. Of
Go over 49. Sorry, Karen.
That's okay. Of being a member of the Nick Kershaw fan club back in the 80s.
Me
And
too.
I was like, and he wrote The One and Only, didn't he? But he also co-wrote Live Forever, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Nick and I, we obviously have known each other now for over 35 years. Um, I was a massive fan when I was a kid, just like you were.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I was a member of the fan club, but I was a massive fan, and he was very influential on my songwriting and everything. But over the years since we've met in the early 90s, we've written hundreds of songs together. Some I've had on his albums, and which I'm very proud of, and some have been on mine. And yeah, on this particular record, Nick has 3 songs on this album co-written with me.
Right. And how is it working with him then? What's your processes? I'm always intrigued. Is it
Well, the
like,
great thing about Nick is you learn something new every time you work with him. I've written songs with him where it's just 2 guitars and we just thrash it out. I've written songs where it's like let's just hone in on a lyric, and then we kind of start with a lyric and a concept. Other times it's like you sit in a computer and play some keys and kind of muck around. And this is a story I tell all the time actually about Nick when I'm asked about writing with Nick. We had this experiment. He said, let's try something totally new. Let's write a chorus, and then we can write in reverse. So we write a chorus, then we'll figure out a really good way to get into the chorus. So
Mhm.
then we write a pre-chorus, and then we think of a really interesting way to get into the pre-chorus, which ends up being a verse. So you write in a very different way. And if you really study music, and certainly Nick's music, you'll hear that it's very interesting and very, very clever. Like The One and Only, for example, you wouldn't know it because it sounds like just a pop banger, which it is, but it's in 4 different keys, which is
Okay.
very, very rare for a pop song.
That is. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the song, I suppose it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, it does, yeah, yeah, absolutely. It moves around all over. So people that just like think they're going to pick up a guitar and play it, I mean, you're going to have to study it for a little bit to kind of really get the chords for it.
Now, the last time I saw you on TV was performing that song on Michael McIntyre's Big Show,
Yes.
when you were the unexpected star of the show. How did it feel when the kind of the curtain dropped as such?
It was like a surprise birthday party on steroids.
Yeah.
It's like 1 minute I'm in this little room which is kind of like a makeshift safe place, and all the walls come down. Suddenly, there's 3,000 people right there because you're in Drury Lane Theatre, and then you quickly realise that there's 7 million people watching you on TV. So
Yep.
it was like muscle memory, though. You have to, if I can't sing that song in my sleep now, something's wrong.
It's it's one of those strange questions, isn't it? So I watched Newton Faulkner. I don't know if you know of Newton Faulkner.
Lovely.
Watched him in Bath very recently, and he said, "I'm now going to play the song that pays my mortgage." And he doesn't particularly like playing it anymore, but he knows that's the one that everybody kind of comes for. And you must have that to a large degree with The One and Only.
A little bit, yeah, but I love playing it because people love it. So it's you can't help but kind of feed off of the energy that you feel from that song. The truth is, it has connections with people that has nothing to do with me, Richard. And so all over the years, as you can imagine, I've had so many different messages from people that like it was the first dance at my wedding, I was playing when I first met my wife, it was my brother's funeral, or I often get people come and say, it's going to be my funeral song.
Yeah,
So those kind of connections, it's not anything to do with me. So I just love it now. I've had my ups and downs with it over the years, but nowadays we're like friends with benefits.
Now, you do no doubt a lot of interviews. So I try whenever I interview somebody, because we've only got a couple of minutes left, to ask a question that you've never been asked before. And the question that I have is that as somebody that I know that we both had contact with over the years, and the question I'm going to ask you, and I'd love to first of all find out, have you ever been asked this question? And then second of all, what is the answer? And that is, what's the strangest thing you've ever found in a dishwasher? First of all, have you ever been asked that question before?
I've never been asked that question before, but I know where you're going, and I have no idea how you found out about this.
We have a mutual contact. Let's go that far.
Okay. So, okay. Are we post watershed here?
We're not. We're early in the morning, but go for it. As long as it's kept,
All
cleanish.
right. So I was coming into a new digs. I was doing a pantomime with John Bishop years and years ago, and Darren Day, and I found this nice digs and came into this little apartment. And I was just looking around, nice bed, good kitchen, whatever. Opened the dishwasher, and right there, staring at me in the top drawer of the dishwasher was a huge purple dildo. So, can't believe I'm saying that on radio, Bath.
Well, you are. I can't believe I asked the question, but that's a different matter altogether.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you feel when you saw it then?
Well, I was obviously in shock there. It was, but it did make for a good anecdote, which I've never
There
told
you
on
go.
radio in public.
You now have. So new from Chesney
Now,
Hawkes, not only a new tour, a new album, but a new anecdote, which he's now performed live on radio.
well, thank you for making that happen, Richard. I
That's okay.
appreciate it.
I know our time is up. So remind everybody where you're on tour and what the album's called.
Well, if you go to chesneyhawkes.com, all the tour dates are there. I'm in the middle of the tour at the moment, just up north in Bury tonight, Newcastle, I've got Sheffield. So there's a few there, and the album is called Living Arrows, and it's released on the 4th of April. It is available to pre-order right now. So go get it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today, Chesney.
Oh, thanks for having me, Rich. Take care, mate.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, man. Take care.